20th of February, it's 28 minutes past 2 here in the afternoon. Here's my latest video blog, and today I wanted to talk about how best to utilize blockchain and the upcoming opportunities for streaming content to make a residual income, whether it's passively or via your own direct effort in regards to content. And there's a whole heap of platforms coming forward and great opportunities, and I wanted to talk about one in particular. I'm gonna work my way towards that, and that's White Rabbit. However, I wanted to talk about quickly about my experience with Steemit. Obviously with YouTube, we've got DTube and Golos. There's a couple of others. Now the big thing is I've had a couple of friends in the last few weeks start doing video blogs, and they started to share it on Facebook and things like that, and on YouTube. Now the big issue with YouTube, I think, is that there is no real reward unless you've got a massive following, which does take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the people who have built particular communities have obviously done very, very well, and they've done the yards. Sometimes the quality versus the not so good quality is a little bit out of balance. I mean, someone could put up a fail army type video and get millions of hits, or someone who's got some really good knowledge and wants to express that on a video doesn't get as much exposure. So how do you reward I suppose quality of content? And I think that's where the peer-to-peer type of platforms are definitely going to come forward in the future, because there's a little bit more personal, more interaction. It's like Facebook. You see a lot of likes and up likes, but you don't get paid for it. On Steemit, you can actually write a blog, you can share a moment, you can do some photography, you can do a video, you can do whatever you want, and obviously based on the following you've got and your interaction and your ability to build a community, you can get rewarded for it. And this is my Steemit blog, and I do recommend anyone that's on basically making content of any sort should at least consider getting onto Steemit. Now, if you are into videos, just like YouTube, and I mean, I've got my YouTube channel, it's not making me money. I don't do it for money. I do this for, really, I did it for my coaching, my gym business, and just me being a coach. I wanted to talk about fitness and life and just express myself, and whatever came from that was a reward. And it has built up a little bit over the last few years, and I think that just comes with it when you make enough content for people to relate to. But I think now you've got to have over 1,000 subscribers to even get ahead. And that's where DTube comes in. Now DTube is actually connected to Steemit. Now when you actually go to upload a particular video onto DTube, it gives you greater options to, you can create an article, you can do all sorts of stuff. Now that once you've submitted that post, it will actually go to your Steemit blog, which is what I showed you at the beginning. So they are connected. So DTube to me is pretty much just an arm of Steemit, in the sense that if you're doing video blogs, it's a really good idea to just go through DTube, because it will go to your Steemit account. What I found, there's a couple of drawbacks with DTube, is that the thumbnails can all look good here, but when you go to the Steemit blog at the end, the thumbnail's a little bit small. Whereas I like to be able to embed my existing YouTube videos, because I can make it the right size and it sort of looks a little bit better and easy to play. So I'm sure DTube will evolve. So there's Steemit, we've got YouTube, as we know, but in regards to peer-to-peer rewards and blockchain technology and actually obtaining rewards for tokens, DTube seems to be the way to go. And you can see there's monetary values against these videos based on quantity. And if you can get into you get a little bit of luck and build up, and a bit of hard work, you can build up your community, you can probably pretty much do pretty well, especially if you've got something to share. Another one on the side is Golos. Golos is a fork of Steemit. This still seems a little bit behind in regards to how far Steemit has come. I do share a lot of my blogs on Golos. Golos is a Russian version of Steemit, so it's predominantly Russians. So there's a lot of Russian on here, but they've actually built up and created little plugins to allow other languages, and it does do automatic translations and those sort of things. And I've actually started to build a bit of a following, and I can actually communicate to the Russians, because it's got automatic translator, which is cool. Actually starts connecting us to other countries. However, it's more of a side thing for me. And then it led me to thinking about, well, what about the talk of plugins and being able to be rewarded for having the plugin and then watching particular content, and I think everyone watches content. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we had a plugin that rewarded the content provider just because you had the plugin installed, and the content provider gets a reward based on the fact that you actually watch their content, and with a little bit more of an even distribution of their fees, or what is it, generated income from. It's not necessarily from advertising, it's actually just from you watching it. And it's like mining. When at the moment you can mine Bitcoin, you can stake coins. Having the plugin will mine a little bit of White Rabbit, will mine a little bit of Steem. Now Steem is another one that's coming up. Now I don't have a lot of information on Steem because they're still getting it all together. It seems to be 3 young fellas, but what's caught my eye is White Rabbit. Now White Rabbit is a digital streaming plugin which will go into your browser, which is going to pay content providers, the platform, and White Rabbit will also make a residual percentage of that income, which will then support marketing and being able to distribute the plugin and get it a little bit more mainstream, and try to get it maybe probably even integrated into software, and also there's all sorts of avenues and opportunities for White Rabbit to get their plugin out there. So it's going to take a bit of work, and I think this year they've got a lot of initial elements to get done until they can actually launch their product, which I'll cover in a sec. So I've got a little video here just on White Rabbit, bit of a play.
White Rabbit is shaking up streaming. How? With our awesome browser plugin, that's how. All those people we call pirates, 60% of them don't want to be pirates. They're fans, okay? They want to pay, but there's been no legitimate way for them to watch what they want, until now. White Rabbit gives the fans unlimited films and series. Download the White Rabbit plugin and stream what you want, from where you want, whenever you want. Be a responsible rebel. Payment is easy, fast, and everyone's happy. White Rabbit. Jump in.
So I think one of the big things is pirating. Now, so let's say you come across one of your favourite videos. It's 2 hours long. It's a documentary or something like that, and you want to watch it, but you can't. There's no download capacity. There's no way of buying it, or you don't have the funds to be able to buy it, or maybe there's not even the ability to buy it. And what I think White Rabbit's also going to be able to do is it'll allow you to download the item, but it's going to reward the content provider and reward the platform, and also reward itself for being able to do it. And I imagine there's a lot of legal stuff in there. There'll be a lot of partners that have to actually agree to come on board. So and that's part of this journey, and that's what they're going to be doing in 2018. I know that they're looking at getting and announcing some partners very shortly. So the big thing is White Rabbit is a browser plugin that recognizes the content you watch without forcing you to subscribe to anyone's site. By separating distribution from payment, White Rabbit offers one payment system by infinite viewing experiences. When streaming their favorite films or series, smart contracts deduct a payment from users and transfer this immediately to right holders. Utilizing blockchain technology, right holders are also ensured complete financial transparency. Thereby, White Rabbit liberates creators and fans from closed server-based subscription platforms. In its place, White Rabbit delivers unlimited choice in content for fans, incentives for innovative streaming industry, a sustainable business model for digital distribution, and a fair and transparent future for artists, producers, and investors. So it's going to allow a lot more people to be able to earn residual incomes, because if anyone comes across your content, likes it, they use White Rabbit, you're going to get paid, White Rabbit's going to get paid, the platform's going to get paid, everyone is happy or happier. And I think that's going to be great for anyone that produces music, film, art, documentaries. You're a content provider, you've got your own intellectual property, and I think that's the big thing here, is how do we reward creation and innovation a little bit more transparently. So there's a lot of positives to this type of platform. Now I know that this year is the year of the White Rabbit. They've got some partners that are going to accept trials of the White Rabbit plugin, and they're going to be doing that in Q1, Q2. They'll be launching in alpha. They're going to be inviting some people to test it out. So that's what this year's about, is getting the plugin working, getting people talking about it, testing it, getting partners to experience it, and seeing how it all works. And then by the end of the year, they'll have a usable working product, and then it's up to them to actually discuss how they're actually going to get this out to mainstream. And there's a lot more information that needs to be obtained. Now, I'm sort of very interested to know how they're going to get this into the hands. What's going to make me want to download this? I mean, I'm in content providing. Here I am on their website. I sort of have a good understanding of what it is. I'm most likely going to be downloading it and trialing it. But what's going to make the person who, the common folk who's going to just be watching videos and doesn't even know about this plugin, how are they going to find out about it? Now, there's some questions that I've got. They'll come out, I'm sure, by the end of the year. So the big thing is, I think the challenge has, White Rabbit's identified 5 main challenges to the film. They talk about film and series industry, but I think it's anything. If you think about streaming, it's anything on the screen. Even YouTube has a lot of music videos, so it can't be just limited to film and series. I can see it actually going into different avenues as well. So there's going to be, they've identified, number one is that there's too few filmmakers making money. So people creating content, even some of the minnow film producers and filmmakers, and the short film makers, all those talented people out there are not making any money. And if this is going to bring more revenue, sounds positive. Number 2, revenue lacks transparency and cash flow immediately. So at the moment, when you go to YouTube, we don't really know how we've earned our money. How much money do we get from having that banner on our video? And at the moment, it's really, it's chicken feed. You don't earn anything. At least with Steemit, you can see your upvotes. And even with DTube, you can see your existing revenue. There's a total there. So obviously, if you're very active and talking to your community and providing good content, it's more transparent. And I think that's what this is all about. Number 3 is we don't distinguish between pirates and fans. Fans are forced to break the law to see their favourite film and series because they can't pay for content. It's probably not just that they can't pay for it. They're probably just you turn to the dark side a little bit. I think once you get the taste of being and have the ease of being able to copy and download videos, you tend to do it. I mean, I'm guilty. I've done it a few times. I don't do it as much as I would have done probably 10 years ago. I probably don't even do it at all. I don't really watch. I watch stuff, and I just spend the time to actually watch it or bookmark it. But I can see that there's going to be a greater demand, especially with films, and I can see, even maybe Hollywood. It's a new way of distributing these videos. They could actually do it through the internet. There's less choice of content as closed service subscription services produce more of their own and buy less. Look, so the YouTubes and some of these, and even some of these other streaming sites don't even provide a revenue. I don't think you earn much from Vimeo. I'm on Vimeo, and I don't even know if you can. I don't think there's any advertising. So imagine being able to have the plugin and use it on Vimeo and actually get rewarded and reward all parties involved. Number 5 is the digital distribution paradox. A lack of competition in global digital distribution shows UI innovation, yet more subscription services mean more logins and passwords for users. We're all members of different particular platforms, whereas you can have this plugin. Doesn't matter where you go, everyone's getting rewarded. And I think that is a great incentive and a great innovation. Now, the big thing is pirating. Currently, it's a $15 billion loss to the film industry, and if you apply that to the, like I said, the individual artist, the independent artist, you think about music, you think about all the videos on YouTube not earning anything. There's a lot of content providers and coaches and all sorts of stuff happening around the world. None of them are actually obtaining and earning money as much as they would like to, and I think there's opportunities to actually reward all parties involved. So it'll be interesting to see what partners White Rabbit gets involved in the next couple of months. So, like I said, it's a $15 billion industry. If some of those losses can come back and reward the content provider and reward the streamer and so on, I think there's going to be greater incentive to use these type of plugins. Now, I've had people talk about, what are the tokens? The thing about tokens, again, when you talk blockchain, you've got to talk about tokenized futures. That's just how it works. If there's no tokens, it's pretty much not blockchain. Now, there's talk of smart tokens or utility tokens. I think this is a utility token in the sense that it's going to have a utility. So you'll have a certain amount of White Rabbit tokens, or called WRTs. Now, when you stream these particular approved sites, or whoever they are, open service sites, White Rabbit's going to allow a reward to be released to the content rights holder. There's going to be 75%. There's going to be a 15% reward to White Rabbit, which will be used for further marketing and expansion of their plugin. And then there's going to be 10% that goes to a PPS, and I did highlight what PPS means, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So 75, 15, and 10%. So there's a particular way that the token rewards are going to be distributed, and that's pretty much how it's going to work. So the token is an ERC20, so it's a utility token as far as I'm concerned. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is part of the white paper. That other page was the short page or one pager. So that's very similar. I wanted to talk about the 75, 15, and 10. And here it is. So the partner is the streaming site. So the PSS is the streaming site that's approving, I suppose, the access legally for White Rabbit to allow the download to occur. And they will receive a 15% reward for allowing that transaction of information or data transfer to occur in a legal format, and they actually get a residual reward. And obviously White Rabbit tokens will be on the market and will have their own perceived value. And obviously the more people that use it and the bigger the partners that get involved, will obviously, I think, will show some sort of inflation on this token. But at the moment it's worth nothing, and that's pretty much how blockchain is. It's all the intrinsic value is in the perception, it's in the utility, it's in the use, it's in the community, it's in the race, and that's what it's all about. So they're talking about a pre-sale. I'm not here to talk about pre-sales. You've got to make your own call on investments, especially in blockchain. It's highly volatile, highly emotional. At the end of the day, what I really want to do for all my friends that do content is allow you and make you more aware that these platforms exist. Steemit, DTube, Golos, you've got Stream coming, and White Rabbit, which I like the look of. They've got a very, very clear direction, and it's a 50-50. Is it going to go, or isn't it? However, anyone that is interested in the tokens, you can come onto their page and have a look and see if that suits you and your direction and what you want to do. But what do you think of this? I like coming across these things. I find them exciting. As a content provider, I would hope that other people would come onto my platform and use White Rabbit, and if that means I get a bit of a reward, and my community is paying me every time they watch my content, that sounds great. And there are other opportunities out there to reward your content providers. I mean, you can do it now. I mean, you can do it by just paying them directly with crypto, but there's going to be more and more of these plugins, and it's interesting. I know that there's a lot of Twitter bots and there's Telegram bots, and you talk about DogeCoin. I think they've got a tip bot or a Discord tip bot and all sorts of different stuff, so they're popping up. And whether or not they can actually get to a mainstream level, like with the next YouTube of streaming payment services, if you like, digital streaming and reward systems is what it's all about. So that's White Rabbit. Let me know what you think on YouTube in the comments. Check out my Steemit if that's what you want to do. If you don't like White Rabbit, instead of downvoting it like some people do, tell me why. That's probably the intelligent thing to do. People always have got a thought about something. Why don't you express yourself and let me know? Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, like I said, let me know what you think.